I came to Istanbul 8 years ago. I learned the language. I love the culture. I am able to use Istanbul as a base for my travels. So from here, I can travel to Europe, I can travel to the East, I can travel to the West, and I can travel back home to South Africa. And also, I just really love the culture here. In that 3 years that I was here, I decided that, it became a feeling of home.
The line of my work is in a way that I can basically work from anywhere. So I can just get my laptop, go work from a coffee shop, stay at my office, I don't know, basically work from anywhere. And that also gives me the advantage to travel around the world. I've been living here in Istanbul for 4.5 years, with my family, of course. I think by the new definitions, you can call me a digital nomad.
Hi, my name is Marie. I am a 32-year-old South African living in Istanbul, Turkey. I do photo and video production for digital platforms, mostly in a niche called Reels for Instagram. I create content for influencers, celebrities, as well as brands, internationally and locally.
Okay, I'm Behzat. I'm from Iran. The head of product at a startup based in London. I've been working with that startup from early stages before seed round, basically, and work from different locations based on my comfort, based on my family's comfort. Or if anything happens somewhere and I need to be somewhere, I can just pack up, go there, and start working. My girlfriend at the time, my wife now, is from America. We couldn't be at each other's country at that time very easily. Of course, I had visited Turkey many times before that. I really liked the city, Istanbul. This was one of my favorite cities.
I would say the biggest challenge for me was the language. It's a huge language barrier. You cannot tell a taxi driver, I need to go to this place, because they don't really understand you. Most of them don't. Now you have GPS, but 8 years ago, most taxi drivers, you had to actually be very specific with where you're going. Once you learn the language and once you grow your local network of friends, you realize that they're actually very welcoming and a heartwarming community that you can build with the locals here. Günaydın. Günaydın diyelim. Also, South African food is much different from Turkish food. Like, South African food doesn't use as much spices, it doesn't use as much oil and tomato. So at the beginning, I was having a lot of trouble with health. I think when I just arrived to Turkey, it was snowing, and I was very surprised that in Istanbul there's snow, and it was 30 centimeters of snow. So for me, also the weather was a big change.
I speak enough Turkish to get by. The first few years was a little bit hard, especially when we were dealing with paperwork, trying to get legal stuff done. Didn't know any Turkish. We had to constantly ask our Turkish friends, which were actually really great, helping us. We're still in touch with a lot of them. And of course, the similarities between my mother tongue and Turkish language helped me a lot to move it forward a little bit faster.
I have chosen the busiest part of Istanbul to make my home. I chose Beyoğlu, Istanbul. I go out of my front door, I cross Istiklal, which is the busiest shopping street, and then I come 2 minutes and I walk into Soho House and I'm alone again in my quiet zone. But I know if I want to step out and come across different energies, different realities, being able to visually be fed by what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm smelling in the streets, the different scents, it all adds to feeding my creativity, And even though I am alone, I don't feel like I'm alone.
Security-wise, I think Istanbul, at least the neighborhood we're living in, is a really secure place. It's very safe, especially for families, because I can see that like Turkish culture is very similar to my own culture, and I can see that family is a really important unit in the society here. So when people see me with my son and my wife going out, like they always smile, they want to interact, they're interested in our story. Like basically they respect that unit, that family unit. There's always something you can do. There's always an event you can attend. There's always places you can go. You can just rent a car, go different places, see different cities, even during your weekend. But at the same time, I want to keep my options open. I want to be able to move to other places if I have to or if I want to, and try those different places out as well.
I think the pandemic created a whole new possible reality. And I think a lot of people who were scared of giving up the 9 to 5 now suddenly has gained courage to give it up because they realize that it's actually a possibility. And you're not risking that much to actually go and try it.
Being a digital nomad means that you're most probably working with a different time zone. So that means you can't act exactly or live exactly in the society like a person who's working and living here in Turkey. Having a baby from home, I think you just heard him right now. Sometimes I'm in a call and he starts crying, but I don't mind actually. Sometimes when he comes to the room, I just pick him up and show him to everybody in the call. That's something I've accepted, and I want people working with me to accept that. And honestly, they have no problem with that. Like they just start playing with him in the middle of a really serious conversation about work.
I do still consider myself being a nomad, and also not just a nomad, but a digital nomad, in a sense that I can shoot my projects anywhere in the world. So when I shoot my projects in Turkey, I can still take my computer and say 20 videos and go to Miami for 2-3 weeks, stay there, pull up my computer wherever I am and work abroad.
You can adjust the nomadic lifestyle to your lifestyle. Like having a family, having a dog, having a place to live doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a nomad. And wanting to have this shouldn't necessarily stop you from becoming a digital nomad. Because you don't want to just country hop. You don't want to live in a place for a few months and then hop to the next place. Like that's not maybe the definition. Definition is for you to be able to like have the comfort and ability to move around while still working for the same job. My son is really young, but depending on what we decide for his future and the type of education, for example, he wants to have, we can say, okay, we stay in one place for 2 years, 3 years, and then move on. You can customize it, you can personalize it to your situation.
Bir simit alabilir miyim? Teşekkür. People who are interested in coming to Turkey, they are open to really experiencing different parts of the world. I mean, Istanbul has 18 million people and you're just one foreigner moving around everyone. Like you become almost, how can I say, you can be yourself completely, because you would meet one person one day and not see them tomorrow. So when you can explore that journey into yourself as a digital nomad, and I think as Istanbul offers the opportunity to, you can actually journey into finding yourself while living here.